starting with the second panel discussion topic, From Classrooms to Careers, Impact of Skill Development in Higher Education. The moderator of the panel is Dr. Achal Gulati, Vice Chancellor and President, Mahatma Gandhi University of Medical Sciences and Technology, Jaipur. Panelists include Dr. Manju Gupta, Pro-Vice Chancellor, European Institute of Management and Technology, Switzerland, Dr. Pramod Kumar Sharma, Vice Chancellor, Sanskaram University, Jhajjar, Dr. Sunil Kumar Khatri, Additional Pro-Vice Chancellor and Dean Academics, Amity University, Noida, Professor Y.D. Gaur, Executive Director, Bhagwan Purushram Institute of Technology, Rohini, Professor Dr. Rajiv Sood, Vice Chancellor, Baba Farid University of Health Sciences, Punjab, Professor Dr. Bhanu Pratap Singh, Vice Chancellor, Maharishi University of Information Technology, Lucknow, and Mr. Mahesh Kumar Gaur, SE Manager, North and East, Quantum Networks.
Well, a very good afternoon to all of you. जिंदगी में कई टाइम आते हैं जो सैडिस्टिक टाइम होते हैं. उसमें से एक सैडिस्टिक टाइम होता है 4 बजे और लास्ट सेशन वाला. It is a battle of wits between the god of sleep and the god of wakefulness. I have a very eminent panel over here to talk about From Classrooms to Careers, Impact of Skill Development in Higher Education. Let me take this opportunity to invite all the panelists to introduce themselves to the audience. We can start from that side, sir.
It's a pleasure to be here today to discuss about the critical role of skill development in higher education. I'm Mahesh Kumar Gaur, a networking solution specialist. I'm working with the Quantum Network as a SE manager and taking care of the North and East region. I'm having a 15-year of experience in solution designing and implementing, and I did the same for businesses and institutions.
I can see.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Myself, Professor B.P. Singh, working as a Vice Chancellor in Maharishi University of Information Technology, Lucknow and Noida campus, last 6 years.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Dr. Manju Gupta. So primarily, I am an educationist, but now an edupreneur also. So I'm a Pro-Vice Chancellor to one of the European institutions. We have 4 campuses. One is in France, Germany, Malta, and Estonia. So I'm taking care of Switzerland campus and France campus. At the same time, before 3 years, I thought that I should be a CEO because as an educationist or as an MBA faculty, you are producing CEOs. So you have to be a CEO first. So 3 years before I started my venture, Ported Private Limited, so which is all about automation of logistic and supply chain, which is an iOS-based application. So which is doing very good, and fortunately we made a balance sheet of 75 crore in last 3 years. And before 3 months, I started my next venture, which is Talentizo Private Limited, which is all about preparing skill force, specifically of AI, not only limited to engineering student, for management, even for educators. So I'm working for Gujarat government for training AI task force and trying to explore more into Delhi, UP, Haryana for preparing task force. So that is my agenda for this year. So I'm aligning with the government vision that we have to produce AI skill force, we have to prepare AI task force. So I'm working on those missions for my next 2 years along with my Pro-Vice Chancellorship.
So we'll work as we keep on progressing, we'll keep on asking your expertise in every area. Sir.
Good afternoon. First of all, my apology for my bad throat. I'm Professor Y.D. Gaur. I was a national professor in microbial technology at ICAR IRI. And after superannuation from there, I am associated with Bhagwan Purushram Institute of Technology, which is affiliated to Guru Gobind Singh IP University, Delhi. So there I am there for the last 10 years and helping the institute in developing and establishment and making the system working in education as well as management.
I'm Professor Dr. Rajiv Sood. I'm Vice Chancellor of the Punjab Health University, that is Baba Farid University of Health Sciences. Before that, I was Dean of Ram Manohar Lohia Hospital Associated Undergraduate and Postgraduate Institute. I am now looking after all the skilling in Punjab along with the Punjab Skill Development Mission with the Skill Ministry in Delhi and also international. So we are the hub, international hub, national hub and also state hub of health related skilling.
जी sir.
Thank you. I'm Dr. Sunil Khatri. I'm Additional Pro Vice Chancellor at Amity University, UP, Noida. Before that, I was Deputy Director General and Dean of Research at Amity, looking into all the, as a foundation for science, technology and innovation for all the 12 universities in India. And before that was heading one of Amity campus in Uzbekistan at Tashkent, which was established by me itself. So today here.
Thank you so much. So this eminent panelist, to introduce myself, I am Achal Gulati. Presently, I am the Vice Chancellor at the Mahatma Gandhi University of Medical Science and Technology. Before this, I was the President at the National Medical Commission and Director of the GB Pant Hospital. Well, education, इतने सारे educationists को देख करके ना मुझको डर लगता है इस समय actually. But having said that, education has really come a long way. You know, एक time था when probably my father, my grandfather was studying, तो उस समय 2 दूनी 4, 4 दूनी 8, 15 एकम 15 दूनी 30, 45, 40, 60, 50, 75. That was the type of education which was there. And I think if we go into the medical education, I mean, I'm an ENT surgeon, so if we go into medical education, esoteric syndromes are there. Tell me 1, 2, 3, 4, 15 points given in that textbook. Those were rote learning times. And today, as we all realize, the education, whether it is global or in India, has come a long way and evolved in all directions, which is there. You know, if I look at it, 5 W's and an H. This should summarize what we actually are looking at. You know, 5 W's. First one, let us say, what? What should be the content? Why? Why should it be what it is today? When should the old concepts be abandoned and the new concepts be taken up? Where it has to be developed? Online, in person, you know, the various methodologies. And who is the audience? Who should be the audience? And most importantly, who should deliver it? Whom should it be delivered to? And then if you come down to the pedagogy of the whole thing, how should it be delivered? You know, these questions are the ones which are the basic key force in any educative processes. If I look at medical curriculum, we have competency-based, but then today everywhere the whole concept about the education is turning into a competency-based system. You know, there was a time when a doctor used to pass, and you ask an MBBS doctor of immediate passing out, can you put an intramuscular injection? I can't. You talk to a BE civil engineer and tell him how to hammer a nail into the wall? I can't. And the thing that came was that, yes, I am an engineer, but why the hell should I know how to drive a nail inside? I'm a carpenter. So the issue that came was, is that classroom to the career? What gap is there? What chasms are there? Is it really a good gap? Is it a good system that we are following through? And are we really just in time creating a suited booted Saabji working in my office who would probably hate to get his hands dirtied onto a car washing or something? So how do you think we have a big heterogeneous group over here which are looking into medicine, engineering, technology, arts, fine art, you know, all the universities are looking into it. So what heterogeneous systems do you think are there in today's deficiencies as far as our education is concerned, which divides the two areas? Let me start with our friend from Amity this side.
Thank you, sir. We were talking about this in roundtable discussions also. I was hearing some of the summaries which are coming on. People are talking about skill gaps. People were talking about industry-ready courses. But this is for, if you see, for last 4-5 decades, we are talking of the same only. Every time we are trying to bridge that gap and reduce that gap and to reach what our industry expectations, industry is coming out with some new trends and technologies. It is very disruptive in nature, particularly with the technologies which has been evolving over the last couple of decades. I think moving ahead, the ideal way is to move to work in industry partners, industry-driven programs. That's the ideal way. If you see many of our universities, particularly if you see foreign universities, they have integrated programs tied up with industry. Rather than expecting industry to tell us, they said industry to drive the programs. So that we, for example, at Amity, we have partnered with Tata. We have an institution jointly with Tata. We have an institution with RICS. We have an institution of logistics with CII. So these institutions are bridging those gaps, and all these students are getting placed also and as per skill ready. So industry-driven programs are going to be the mainstay in time to come.
Okay, so that actually sums up what the entire thing is. But are we actually looking at any other gaps in it? Rajiv ji, what do you feel in that? Are we really filling up the gaps?
Basically, you have mentioned about competency-based education, and now it is outcome-based also. The gaps are that the skilling we are introducing consciously, and we have the competencies defined, and but the curriculum is not uniform, and also the training is also not uniform. Whenever skilling is done, first thing is you have to go for skilling, then is the skill refining, uniformity, and also upskilling. See, if somebody in our medical profession is doing nursing, so there may not be any course for mental health nurse or critical health nurse, but upskilling is that you are making the capsules are adding, and it is the complete creditization of the education and training also, and you earn credits, and also the credit gaps may be there in the national and international. So you have to add those credit capsules, and so that uniformity is there, outcome-based education is there, skilling, proper skilling, upskilling is there, and then industry relation, as has been mentioned, are very important. And now in the new education and training policy, not only innovations and R&D is important, but also relation with the industry, the internships, the exposures, and the placements become important.
We'll come to that part a little bit later in the
these
segment.
all things we are integrating. Basically, I'm talking about outcome-based.
So what Dr. Rajiv has very rightly said, we need to focus on what the outcomes are expected. You know, a society has certain expectations, the teacher has certain expectations, the student has certain expectations, and that is what we need to do. Ultimately, there's no point in bringing out a babu over there until and unless he is skilled enough to bring about a change and bring it in this manner. You know, aaj ke din mein we have a lot of qualifications, we have a lot of degrees over there, huge tails over there. But the question that comes is a degree actually a reflection of what my knowledge is? And does this degree and my knowledge, ultimately, you know, when I have a class of, let us say, 100, 200, 300, whatever the class is, I have roll number 1, roll number 200. Roll number 1 could have 95% marks, and roll number 200 would probably have 50% marks, which may be the passing thing. But at the end of the day, both have the same degree. But are they equal in their knowledge? Are they equal in their skills? That is something which needs to be debated. God, sir, senior sir, aapka iske bare mein, what do you feel on this issue?
Good afternoon again. In my view,
So, thoda pass kar lenge aur mic ko.
the main reason of the gap between the talent and absorption in industry is the mushrooming of the teaching institutions, and which are lacking most of the institutions, especially the institutions which have come very recently, last 10 or 15 years, and they are based on public-private system, are lacking quality education. As Professor Achal has already told so far, 55 passing candidate is equivalent to the one who is past 95. So these half-cooked students are going, and they are not fit for, I think, most of the industries. So they need some skilling. And for that skilling, the UGC has already made some guidelines. Beautiful output has been made. It very comprehensive account has been made. But that requires, that may be possible in my opinion, because for the last 10 years I'm working in a private institution where the finances, administration, liking, all those problems. Even the government, starting any new course or skill, you require finances, and again quality teachers. So for the time being, I believe it that this system is breaking, and this problem is arising because of this not a active participation between the industry and academia.
So that's very rightly said, sir, because, you know, at any point of time, ranks, grades, percentage, they may not reflect your success in life. If I look at it, Steve Jobs, I mean, is education and where has he reached? And today, if I look at it, we have a lot of IITians who would be the top cream of the country, but is every IITian successful? I do not know. Is every IIM Ahmedabad management graduate successful? I do not know, because apart from that, there are other skills which need to be taught. Manjuji, you have been into this field for a long time. Any other skills do you think in the background which an individual or an organization needs to have category form a part of the teaching things? You know, something like maybe emotional, etc., other soft skills.
So, sir, when you said this degree, sometimes I feel degree is just a piece of paper if you do not have the right kind of skill. Because जिसको हिंदी में हम बोलते हैं हुनर, हमारे घर में एक मैकेनिक भी काम करने आता है. So we don't know what is the problem, but then he asks you 2,000 rupees and you have to pay because that skill you do not have.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, he do not have the degree. That is why he is not getting that reputation and prestige or even that kind of aura, I must say. But when any of the student who is engineering graduate, he is entering into a company. So with the help of degree, he is able to enter into the company, but he has to sustain in the company, he has to prove himself. He can only prove himself with the help of skills. So now what kind of skill set is required? That is very, very essential. See, I being an educationist, I am also surrounded with students and faculties. So what is the gap? The gap is of the mindset. You know, faculties still today have traditional mindset, which will not work definitely. I myself has analyzed, because education has changed a lot, industry perspective have changed a lot, curriculum have changed a lot. Students are more smarter than a faculty. We should not be ashamed of saying so, because I know students are doing the task which we do in 2 hours. Student can do that task in just 10 minutes with the help of various, AI-based tools. So we as an educationist also have to learn those AI-based tools where efficiency of a faculty can be increased and we do more productive work to the institution. So I think that, smart skills are required to work in this dynamic environment.
Basically, if I gather what I've been able to gather so far is, the problem with me is I'm a teacher of yesterday. Yes. So teachers of yesterday are teaching the students of today using the skills and knowledge of yesterday for utilization for tomorrow.
We have to align with their mindset.
Yes.
What they are asking. That is why number of students are coming less in the classroom, because we are not speaking their language. So we have to speak their language.
So if the student is not willing to learn what I teach, I should be willing to teach what he wants to learn.
Exactly.
That should be the basic thing
Yes.
which comes in.
Yes.
But apart from that, sir, apart from these skills which are there, any other soft skills like, let us say, maybe resourcefulness, networking, organization, or do these really make a difference in our outcomes at the end
Sir,
of the day?
there are number of skill requirements, पर सबसे पहले जरूरत है हम लोगों को ह्यूमन से ह्यूमन बनाने की. जो बच्चे हैं हमारे, उनको ये ध्यान देने की जरूरत है कि ह्यूमन कब बनेंगे, मानव कब बनेंगे, क्योंकि देयर आर लॉट ऑफ इंफॉर्मेशन टेक्नोलॉजी आर अवेलेबल ऑन द इंटरनेट एंड इन मार्केट. What we are delivering in the class, that it depend on any class teacher. We have to upskill, rethink what we are delivering in the class, or what are the types of modes which we are delivering in the class. यदि हम किसी से, एक मैकेनिकल इंजीनियर से, आज से बच्चे से बात करते हैं, उसके पास बाइक है, कार है, बट उसको उसके कंपोनेंट्स ही नहीं मालूम है, उसको ये नहीं पता है कि मेरे पास ये बाइक है, ये 2 स्ट्रोक इंजन है या 4 स्ट्रोक इंजन है. तो इस टाइप से बहुत सारी चीज़ें हैं जो हम लोगों को समझने की जरूरत है कि हम किस टाइप की डिलीवरी क्लासेस में दे रहे हैं और उनके बेसिस पर उनका करियर बनाने जा रहे हैं.
बिल्कुल सर. तो जो बात ये आ जाती है, हम लोग बात करते हैं ट्रेन द ट्रेनी, ट्रेन द ट्रेनी, ट्रेन द ट्रेनी. आज के दिन जरूरत है ट्रेन द टीचर ऑल्सो, सो दैट ही कैन ट्रेन द ट्रेनी प्रॉपर्ली. बिल्कुल. हमारी यहीं पे प्रॉब्लम शुरू होती है, और इसमें प्रॉब्लम एक और आ जाती है कि बच्चे का क्या इमोशनल स्टेटस क्या है. आर वी teaching him those soft skills of emotional, organizational skills, perseverance, resilience,
yes, sir,
how to
yes.
face the world. ये उसको सीखेगा तभी तो वो बढ़ेगा ना आगे. So let me come down to Mr. Gaur sir. Gaur साहब, हमारे पास when we look at so many students who are there, do you really think they are equipped with the skills which are there for today?
So, although most of the people are from the industry and they are much expert because they are day in day out teaching skills, they have the teaching skills and they are doing the work. But I would suggest we need to redefine our structure. We definitely need to work with our students to provide more skills. As ma'am said, degree is just a paper. If candidate having a skills, I would say, because when I was in school, my father said, चाहे घास काटने वाला बनो, but एक perfect बनना. So perfection is important, and when you talk about the perfection, it's correlate with the skills. So we have to work, together to develop our skills, not only for the students, for the faculties as well.
So perfectly, that's it. let me change the gears a little bit, Sunil ji. If I take the speed of revolution which is happening, today we are in for a explosive atmosphere. As a generation, we studied small textbooks, we studied kunjis, then we learned computers, then we learned laptops, today we learned soft skills, we learned how to run mobile phones. We saw the first desktop computer I took had a memory of 2 GB. Today my daily utilization of my phone is about 5 GBs. So this change in newer technologies, domain-specific advancements, shift in the generational moral compass which is there, transition preferences. So how do you think the universities should navigate this ongoing challenge? You are running a huge university spread right across the country. So how do you ensure that the relevance at all times through shorter cycles is ensured?
Thank you, sir, for this question. In fact, if you see, there were times when people were wondering and having objections that we are having calculators, this will take away the capability of calculations from the students at that time. But things have passed on. Students have have developed their skills in developing the code which can do the calculations rather than doing the calculations. So technology is there and going to there. We have to accept those and adapt with those disruptive technologies which is to be there. In fact, today, what we were planning, in fact, in our university also, we had tried to incorporate the disruptive technologies across the domains. Today, we say artificial intelligence. Why not? And in fact, it is something skill which is needed cutting across the sector. It is needed even in fine arts and fine performing arts in one way. If you see pure hardcore engineering, we talk about, definitely artificial intelligence is a part of it. But even if you look into other areas such as law, artificial intelligence is very useful there. So accepting the technologies and using them is required today. And as said that students are evolving today, particularly after this COVID time. So they are more towards the technology and far from the books. We should accept the reality rather than thinking is a problem. We should find a solution out of it. So we're moving ahead. Our strategy should be evolving of using these technologies and planning our strategies accordingly so that we can integrate them with our curriculum.
So, Sunil, tell me one thing. Let me ask you a very personal question. Should I be afraid of artificial intelligence?
No, sir, no way. No one
But
should.
it can
Everyone
replace
had to
me,
accept
isn't
it. It's going to be a part of life.
Yeah. So this is something which all of us have to get into our mind. Artificial intelligence is nothing to be scared of. It is a very clear thing. Nobody, no physician, surgeon, doctor, individual can be replaced by artificial intelligence. नया 9 दिन होता है, पुराना 100 दिन ही होता है. वो artificial है, मेरी natural intelligence है. But having said that, anybody who does not accept artificial intelligence as a way of life is definitely going to be replaced. Artificial intelligence will not replace me, but if I refuse to accept artificial intelligence, I will be replaced. That is something which we have to get across to everybody. बोला ना, नया 9 दिन, पुराना 100 दिन, मैं तो हूं ना बिल्कुल. लेकिन मुझे एक बात बताओ, मंजू जी, आपने बात उठाई. मैं भारत का रहने वाला हूं, भारत के ही गीत सुनाऊंगा. हमारे प्रधानमंत्री जी का एक सपना है विकसित भारत का, मेक इन इंडिया, मेड इन इंडिया. आप क्या सोचती हो इसके बारे में जब हम आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस के बारे में बात करते हैं? क्या मेरा भारत उतना महान है कि सबसे महान है?
डेफिनेटली सर, इंडिया इज ग्रेट. भारत महान तो है ही, बट मोदी जी का एक बहुत बड़ा सपना है कि मुझे इसको एक विकसित भारत बनाना है 2047 तक. और वो विकसित भारत तभी बन सकता है, देखो पहले जीडीपी होता है. जीडीपी इज टू मेजर द इकोनॉमी ऑफ ए कंट्री. सो व्हाट आई पर्सनली से इट जीडीकेपी. We should add K factor into GDP to make it a trillion economy and to make it a Viksit Bharat. So I am personally working with Niti Aayog on this project.
K factor, एक तो K वो आती है, वो जो कौन सी सीरियल बनाती
K is a knowledge factor.
नहीं, एक वो जो K वो सीरियल बनाती थी, क्या नाम था उसका, जितेंद्र की बेटी जो सीरियल बनाती थी,
Ekta Kapoor.
एकता कपूर. तो
नहीं,
वाली.
No. I am not talking about that K. I am talking about K as a knowledge factor.
Absolutely.
Because see, ultimately, how the economy develop with the help of the skill empowerment. So that is why he is majorly focusing on enhancing the skill. Every time he talk about skill, because he know that Viksit Bharat ka jo sapna hai, by adding K factor only it is possible. So I think we should not deny with this fact.
So God Sir Senior, I'll classify as God Sir Senior and God Sir other one. So आप क्या सोचते हैं sir? Where do we look as if the partners in industry, if you look at it, how much can the industry really participate in the educative process of the classroom to the career?
In my opinion, sir, the participation of the industry should be from each level rather than coining the syllabi, curricula, as well as the evaluation system. And rather, they should invest in the institutions for grooming the candidates suitable for making suitable for their industry. Unless that is there, I think we will not be able to approach.
Okay.
They should identify the potential candidates and ask that you groom them, they become capable for my industry. I want these three, and there should be some forecast system also. Say in future, in this year, so much candidates will be requiring for this particular job.
Sir,
Only
just
the-
to add,
there will
because
be
we were
that.
talking about the AI.
As the
Please.
example is there, defense, they are grooming their old soldiers. ISRO is grooming, and that's why they are progressing so far. BARC has started for the last 30 years like that. So why not the other industries also groom their candidates?
जी सर.
And instead of having a PhD or postgraduate, I believe our
सर माइक पास रख लेंगे.
education system is much better than other system, engineering system, because there the PG degree one will not get if one is getting the less marks. But not in engineering or other branches. There 55% also have passed the post-graduation, but not there. And they consider one's equal to 95% marks.
जी सर.
So,
महेश जी आप कुछ कह रहे थे?
So basically, we were talking about the AI. So I would say connectivity, automation, and AI-driven networks. So basically, they are shaping the future of education, and they are also preparing a student how they can, make their successful career. In terms of Make in India, because I'm a part of Quantum, I proudly said that we are a Class 1 Make in India product, or a OEM, you can say. We have full product portfolio to help and skill our educational sector with the back-end component, like wireless switching and other components.
ओके सो सर आपके विचार में अगर हम कोर्स करेक्शन करना चाहते हैं इस समय हमारी एक स्पीड चल रही है और हमें एक स्पीड एक्सपेक्ट करते हैं इन दो स्पीड्स के बीच में हम स्पीड करेक्शन क्या क्या चेंजेस लाना चाहोगे आप जो कि आप सोचते हो कि हम इसको लेकर के आए हम
Sir, is it possible to add the industry expert in our board of studies, in the academia also? Then we can minimize the gap. In each board of study of every university and institution, if we add the industry expert as a one member of the board of studies, then what the university wants or what the industry wants, then we can minimize the gap. Another thing is that we can, if it is possible, especially in private sector of the university or education system, just like as a UGC gives the guidelines to adopt the villages, near about 4 to 5 villages for the every university for Viksit Bharat part, if there should be any such type of a guidelines that each university, each industry have to adopt 5 universities to guide them for their future skill also, it will be a good prospect to, especially for private universities.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल सही बोले सर आप कहने का ये मतलब है कि आज के दिन हमारे जो कोर्सेज हैं उनको हम इंटीग्रेट करें विद टेकिंग द इंडस्ट्री क्योंकि अल्टीमेटली एंड यूजर तो वही है ना दे हैव टू यूज आवर प्रोडक्ट सो आई हैव टू डेवलप द प्रोडक्ट्स अकॉर्डिंग टू देयर नीड्स अब आईआईटी खड़गपुर ने शुरू किया दे स्टार्टेड अ मेडिकल कॉलेज विद मोर फोकस ऑन research and development of equipments. Similarly, Indian Institute of Science wants to start a medical college whose basic focus will be on research. So at the end of the day, we are now entering an era जहाँ पे हम फोकस कर रहे हैं इंडस्ट्री को हमको क्या सप्लाई करना है एंड यूजर को क्या सप्लाई करना है तभी तो हम एक डिमांड एंड सप्लाई क्रिएट कर सकेंगे मंजू जी आप कुछ कह रही थी
Sir, syllabus has already changed by various universities, but what I feel, the 40% of syllabus has to be taught by industry and 60% by the core faculty. This is one thing. I think a lot of institution has already done that. Secondly, we have to divide our curriculum into 4 parts: knowing, doing, being, and next. So this next is very essential because students are really smart. We cannot deny the fact that they are Gen Z students. So definitely we have to divide our curriculum into 4 parts by knowing, doing, being, and next. What we taught them in 40 hours, that is just to be concluded in knowing part, which is 20 hours, I must say.
So I'll focus a bit on Rajiv ji now. Rajiv ji, you are heading the Baba Farid University of Health Sciences, entirely a health university. So in what way, as the head of the university, as the leader of the university, do you think that the role of your university or yourself as a vice chancellor of that university is evolving to balance the skill set of your students which are now evolving?
Any university has 3 components. One traditionally, like you have education, research, and technological integration that is met for medical university, it is medical educational technology. You know, in the new education policy now, and the competency-based education, the basic course in MET, that is BC MET, is essential to enter.
MET means medical education technology.
Medical education technology
Yeah.
for medical. And also R&D is important for any promotions of the faculty. So they get oriented. Basically, we are reorienting the whole system. It is neither evolution nor revolution. It is the reorientation with integration of the technology, artificial intelligence, and in the ecosystem of education, research, and partnership. The partnership can be between the universities, it can be between university and the industry. We are focusing on all. We have entered into the partnerships even with the Western Command Army, and also with the Indian Medical Association, which is 5 lakh doctors. We have paramedics. We have integrated all the courses together. We have started the skill centers, and in skill center, health related, but we are not restricting to health.
So
it
if I may just
be
interject for a minute, sir, for the sake of the audience who are not medical professionals. The National Medical Commission has made it mandatory for every medical college to have a skills center. Now over there you have simulators, you have mannequins, because ultimately you have to train the students. I cannot train the student directly on a human being, because ultimately kahin na kahin to kisi ka rishtedar hai na wo. Just like the pilots are training on simulators, but if you are trained entirely on simulators, you do not become a good pilot because the fear of death is lost with you. But in a medical university, we have mandatory courses that every undergraduate, every postgraduate, every faculty member has to undergo certain courses. Like he said, the medical education technology course has to be done, a research methodology course has to be done. And apart from that, every individual in the university campus or in the campus must undergo the basic life support system, these courses in that, and the advanced cardiac life support care. So these courses become mandatory as a part of the skill training of every individual, and as universities, it is their responsibility कि जितने आसपास मेरे industries हैं या मेरे वो हैं, that every person is trained in that area.
You are absolutely right. And what we are doing next is the integration, as you mentioned, and it can be the integration between even agri horticulture and medicine. We have started the new courses which has been promoted by the new education policy, integrated courses and non-traditional. In our university, I'll give you the example, we have started the phytomedicine. That is, we have started gerontology, we have started integrated oncology. So 17 courses we have started, 51 skill courses we have started. We have 170 our institutions which are allied, and also throughout country we are going for partnerships in different universities also.
वो दिन गए जब मेरे पास ऑप्शन थी डॉक्टर बनना है, इंजीनियर बनना है, चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट बनना है, वकील बनना है, उसके बाद जयराम जी की बिजनेस अपने ज्वाइन कर लो. Today we have so many other courses which are there. In fact, what Rajiv ji just said, that agriculture, if I, as a health university, as a medical university, I have to develop a medical college, I have to develop a hospital, I have to have dietetic services over there, architectural services, engineering services, nutritional services, all these pharmaceutical services. So all these form a part of the health university.
Even
and that is where-
Indian knowledge system, we
Absolutely.
are integrating.
So what-
And NMC has now told that in every medical institution there should be Department of Integrated Medicine.
So integrated medicine, again, I need to incorporate my use systems into my current medical system. ये भी तो मेरे प्रधानमंत्री की ड्रीम है, क्यों मंजूर जी? ये भी इच्छा है ना उनकी. तो इन सबको करते हुए, because now
मैं एक लाइन में इसको कंक्लूड करूंगा.
जी, sir.
Today it is not that you get educated फिर बोलिए मेरे पास जॉब नहीं है. आपको it is not education for employment. It is now you are not, you are choosing your goal, and we may craft the new course also.
absolutely, बिल्कुल, मंजू जी.
I've designed a similar curriculum and share in the group, sir. So basically, the idea is first to train the student, then give them campus to corporate, and then give them next gen CEO program. So which align with the vision of the government as well as for Viksit Bharat.
बट कहीं सारे इस झमेले में हम कुछ चीजें भूल तो नहीं गए सुनील?
Sir, भूल गए हैं.
मेंटरिंग,
Yes.
something like
Emotional quotient, emotional intelligence.
बिल्कुल,
Yes.
something like cohorts. When I said soft skills, what I meant was the EQs need to be valued,
Yes,
the emotional
it is-
quotients
it
of the
is very
individual.
much.
Is he fit to take up that job? you know, ergonomics is a structure where you make the person fit the job. लेकिन हमारे यहाँ क्या है, make the job fit to the person. क्यों? मेरी वाकफियत है, मैंने मेडिकल किया हुआ है, लेकिन मेरे को मेडिकल में नौकरी नहीं मिली, चल यार इंजीनियरिंग में लगा दे, मेरे को कोई बात नहीं. So I find a person who will fit any job. Over here it should be the reverse thing. जी गौर साहब, सीनियर सर, आप क्या?
Sir, in this regard, I have a very strong feeling that the selection should be based on interest, aptitude. I have been associated for most, I think, 15 years with CSR, NET, UGC examinations, and I find the question papers, they are not based on that they are able to identify the candidate for research based on its cognitive values or analytic values or the attitude. I think, in my opinion, if a third-class student may perform better, provided he has interest in that particular.
I think
line.
sir has hit it on the nail on the head. मैं pre-placement करता हूँ. Why can't I have pre-placement before I take up a course?
Yes.
I need to have the person's aptitude, whether he is fit enough to take that course or not, and only then I guide him into that. Sunil, in your university, do you have any guiding facilities for the students who are entering? What career options are open to you?
Yes, sir. It's a very great question to share the answer on it. At our university, we practice the concept of aspirational survey, but before coming to that, it was mentioned that we should have industry partners and board of study. At Amity University, for last 20 years, we are already practicing it. So we are, yes, this is what you are saying, sir. So when our students are getting admitted to Amity, we get an aspirational survey form which talks about what they really want to do. Some of them wants to go for higher studies after that particular degree program in which they are getting admitted. Some wants to go for placements. Some wants to go for family business, and some wants to go for startups, entrepreneurship. So that hand-holding starts from the day one. So the plan pathway is designed for each student specific to what is their plan and accordingly what are their interest area also. So that skills are being developed and the courses are, so there is a faculty assigned as a mentor for that skill enhancement process, and all those skill courses which are being mentioned by various panelists are also there accordingly to be fitted.
तो इसमें तुम slow learners को भी identify करते हो?
We identify both slow learners as well as accelerated
And
learners.
do you specify the slow learners के लिए what are the abilities of, you know, today everybody focuses on the disability. I need to focus on ability. It is not what you can't do, it is what I can do. That is what is important.
So, sir, we have actually two ways when we talk about slow learners. So, there is a provision to go for additional duration even in summers for that to earn that credits which they could not get. And similarly, for accelerated program system, we have additional credits up to 15% that any student can take and complete the degree in a faster way, in a lesser time. So, both those options.
So before I wind up, let me start with one closing statement, very brief statements from the other end.
I would say in today's digital world, for every student, it is essential to develop a digital literacy skills so that they can able to access online resources like digital classes, digital libraries, research theses, and other things. So I think it's really need to and focus on a digital learning. It's really very important for our student for the futures.
Sir.
Sir, in my point of view, we have to focus on what the students are using for the screen time, off time and on time. What is the screening time? If we are maximum time he or she is utilizing on the screening, then what is the benefit of book reading? So we have to focus on the screen time also balancing.
Manju ji.
My summarization is we have to produce product, not the customers.
Gaur sir, senior.
My view is that there should be a very strong partnership between academia and industries.
सर ने बिल्कुल सारा टॉपिक एक ही लाइन में पूरा कर दिया. एकेडमी और इंडस्ट्री के अंदर पार्टनरशिप बहुत स्ट्रांग होनी चाहिए. राजीव जी.
Yes, academia industry two-way partnership is important, and also the skilling is not only for the normal course of education and training, but it is also for rehabilitation, maybe of prisoner, maybe of drug addicts, how to skill them differently, or slow learners as you have mentioned. So skilling is important component of today's education and learning.
Perfect. Sunil.
Sir, I would like to say that we should have three vertical plans parallelly to go with. One is when the student take admission, there has to be a pathway defined based on the strengths and the wishes of the students, which areas so the pathways and skill enhancement can be done. Second is devising those type of courses which can be supporting for the students to upgrade their skills to the level that they want to go into and provide an ecosystem not only in terms of courses but also in terms of that supporting department. Third and finally is integrated and industry-driven programs rather than industry-supported programs.
So I'll just like to wind up that we have a system which is working. After all, India has produced the best graduates across the world from times immemorial. BC, EC कितना कर लो, हमारे तब से हमारी यूनिवर्सिटीज चल रही हैं, बहुत अच्छी पढ़ाई लिखाई हो रही है. We have been dynamic in changing our attitudes, our curriculum, our changes what is required with the society and what we can give. मेरी problem एक increased population की भी है, because I need to cater to every population over there. So I need to look after the interest of everybody. And as time advances, we have been changing with the time. We have been adjusting with the times, and that is what is mostly required. We are good, but then best should not become the enemy of good enough. We have to survive in both. There has to be a transit period in between. और आज के दिन मैं क्लोज करूंगा. 2 हाथ है मेरे पास, एक इंडस्ट्री का, एक एकेडमिया का. दोनों गाना गा रहे हैं. साथ ही हाथ बढ़ाना साथ ही रहे. थैंक यू सो मच. जय हिंद, जय भारत.
Thank you all the panelists for such an interesting panel. Now I would like to request Mahesh sir to please felicitate Achal sir with an award. Next up, please felicitate Dr. Manju Gupta. Next up, please felicitate Dr. Sunil Kumar Khatri. Next up, please felicitate Professor Dr. Rajiv Sood. Please felicitate Professor Y.D. Gaur. Next up, please felicitate Professor Bhanu Pratap Singh. Next up, I would like to request Achal sir to please felicitate Mahesh sir. I request you all to please stand for a group photograph.